Some say blessings hide in the most unlikely places, even in sand. But before blessings come, there is suffering. Before miracles come, there are tears. Before destiny rises, something or someone must be tested. And before the miracle, there was a child abandoned by everyone. Everyone except the divine. Her name was Amina. It was a cold night on the outskirts of the market. Amina sat inside her crumbling shack, a leaning metal sheet and broken wood. She stared at the 3 miserable coins she earned selling sand that day. 3 coins, not enough for maize meal, not enough for bread, barely enough to survive another sunrise. Her stomach growled painfully. Her hands trembled from hunger. She hadn't eaten in 3 days. Her mind rushed through memory lane. 6 months before that day, Amina's existence was nothing but humiliation. Dirty, starving, abandoned, invisible. She survived by selling sand, the cheapest, lowest, most pitiful trade in the entire market. The other children mocked her. Dust girl, they shouted. She sleeps with sand because it's the only thing that wants her. Vendors chased her away with sticks. Older boys beat her and stole her few coins. Some spat at her and called her cursed. Her clothes, torn, filthy, stiff with dirt, made her look like a child who had lost her mind. But still, Amina never stole, never begged aggressively, never lied, never cursed anyone. Her suffering shaped her, but it did not destroy her humanity. Years earlier, when Amina was 8, a fire accident took her parents. Her only surviving relative, Aunt Serwa, took her in reluctantly. To the world, Serwa was a respectable woman, but behind closed doors, she was cruel. Amina cooked. Amina washed clothes. Amina fetched water. Amina slept on the floor. She was beaten for mistakes, starved as punishment, called cursed child, bad luck, burden. One morning, Serwa packed her bags. Amina, she said with cold eyes, you are old enough to fend for yourself. Do not follow me. Do not look for me. You bring nothing but misfortune. And she left, just like that. Amina, 11 years old, became homeless. Amina slept in corners of the market. On cold nights, she hugged stray dogs for warmth. She fought vultures for scraps at the garbage bins. She tried begging. Older beggars beat her for stealing their corner. So she chose something no one fought over: selling sand. Humiliating, but honest. Despite everything, her heart remained soft. She shared scraps with stray animals, helped elderly women with their baskets, warned young girls about dangerous men, guided a blind beggar through the crowd. Other sufferers noticed. That sand girl, she has goodness in her, they said. Every night she whispered the same prayer. Please, God, please don't let this be my whole life. Please. Unknown to her, her story was one day going to change. As she stood up to collect the coins from her broken wooden chair, the same chair she found at the dump site months ago, something strange happened. One of the beautiful stones she had found at the river, one day when she was collecting sand, sparked her eyes. It sparkled under the dim firelight. Amina frowned. She moved to the corner where she had kept the stones. They glowed. They felt warm in her fingers. And then she picked one. She smiled. Such beauty in a lost and dirty shack. Her eyes widened. Are these of any value? Am I really as mad as they all think? She felt a wave of fear and despair run down her spine and dropped it. Then another thought struck her. Why not ask the jeweler? Might he buy it for his jewelry? Amina froze. Her heart pounded like a drum. She picked again one of those stones, took her coins from the chair, and headed out in a rush to get to the jeweler's shop before he closed. She had nothing to lose. She at least had to try. Amina gathered her confidence. Maybe she could get enough coins for her to buy a plate of food. The jeweler was an old man. His eyes were ancient, deep, knowing, powerful. Amina handed him the stone. He stared at Amina. Amina was confused. No one ever looked at her like that. The man said nothing for a while, and then said, "Where did you get this?" Amina thought she was in trouble. "At the river while I was gathering sand," she replied. The jeweler told Amina that her stone was a diamond. It was worth a lot of money. He promised to help her sell it. Amina bought food, soap, shoes, a dress. For the first time, she felt human. That night, she took all her glittering stones and hid them away from her shack. She had learned from her past when she was beaten and stolen from. She didn't tell anyone that her story had changed, but someone noticed. Al-Haji Musa, the wealthiest, most feared merchant in town, and the kind of man who believed anything good must belong to him. Musa asked Amina how she had become rich overnight. Amina lied quickly. "It was just a stone I found near the river," she replied. Musa didn't believe a word. "If a child has a miracle," he hissed to his men, "it doesn't belong to her, it belongs to me." He sent spies to follow her, to watch her, track her, find her source. Meanwhile, Amina, she opened a fabric store, hired orphans, paid school fees, repaired an old well, fed the homeless. The poor loved her, but the powerful grew jealous. "Who does she think she is?" they said. "She must be a witch. No orphan rises unless they use dark magic." Musa smiled. Their jealousy was the perfect weapon. Musa gathered corrupt allies, a bribed market chairman, a dishonest police officer, a jealous priest, and greedy merchants. Together they planned. "We accuse her of witchcraft, we seize her wealth, and find her source of diamonds." The trap was set. At the tribunal, Musa lifted his voice against Amina. He mocked her. Amina was no longer that street girl. She was not afraid. She calmly presented her evidence. The village women were encouraged by her courage. They stood up and gave witnesses. They exposed Musa's crimes, stealing from widows, ruining homes, cheating the poor, causing the fire that killed Amina's parents. Years of wickedness revealed. Musa's legs froze. His friends and allies were nowhere to be found. The court had no choice. Musa was giving community service to sweep the same streets that Amina suffered on. Fate made him taste the suffering he caused. Musa became a beggar. Amina's money was restored and she was safe to sell her remaining diamonds. She built schools, orphanages, shops for the poor, a foundation in her name. She grew into a wise woman admired by all. She kept a small bottle of sand in her shelf for a reminder, and whenever she met suffering children, she would say, "Do not become cruel because the world was cruel to you. Suffering is not the end. Sometimes it is preparation. The divine sees everything and rewards accordingly."